Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw, and I am joined today by a good friend of mine and a frequent guest of the Kulturecast, Mr. Zach Nowack.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about a movie that is very near, well, a property that is very near and dear to Zach's heart. Power Rangers.
I would say that is factual.
It's true. We're going to be talking about Power Rangers from 2017, the new film that is rebooting the franchise for a new audience. So let's get right to it. We're not going to be talking about anything else because I think we're going to have more than enough to talk about. IMDb synopsis for the film is a group of high school kids who are infused with unique superpowers harness their abilities in order to save the world.
None of us really know each other.
We're all screw-ups.
But somehow, we were all in the same place at the same time when Billy found those coins. Guys, check out how we glow.
I'm blue.
Oh, I'm black.
What?
I am.
No, you're not.
Oh.
Do you feel weird?
We're strong.
Insanely strong.
The answer to what is happening to you is here. You 5 are the Power Rangers.
Did I just hear you say we're Power Rangers?
Is this some kind of joke? We're talking to a wall.
I was kind of expecting a little more.
So where were you last night? Me and 4 kids found a spaceship buried underground. I'm pretty sure I'm a superhero.
Cool. Pee in that cup.
Power Rangers were a legion of warriors. You must become those warriors.
It's just a hologram, like a video game.
That's a strong-ass hologram.
Not a video game. No one man should have all that power.
You were born for this.
I will destroy everything.
She is pure evil.
How do you expect us to stop her?
It's morphin time. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it. No one man should have all that power.
It's a lot of gold.
This is your destiny.
Let's go! Go!
This is your time.
So like I kind of said at the beginning, Zach, you are a huge fan of the Power Rangers from back when you were a kid. So with that in mind, kind of being a fan of the original Power Rangers, watching this new reboot of this franchise, what did you think of the film?
You know, I honestly thought it was going to be pretty bad. I still had interest in it because of the nostalgia, but I didn't expect a whole lot from it, and I ended up, I think, enjoying it more than I thought I would. I definitely liked the first half of the film a lot more than the second half of the film, but we can dive into it when we talk more about the film here. But what did you think about it?
I'm going to ask you, what do you think I thought? Because I'm notorious among our group of friends, apparently, according to some of them, that I hate everything.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a trick question. I did see that you posted that you liked it more than you thought you would.
I did. I actually really enjoyed it, which is kind of shocking because I thought it was going to be garbage. And I think that that's primarily due to the trailers being really poorly done. I think that the trailers for this movie were terrible.
I mean, they were kind of cheesy.
No, but that's the thing. Like, they weren't cheesy. They were just, they made the film look generic as fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, it's not. It's actually a way better movie than I think, I don't know, it's a way better movie than I think anyone who went and saw it thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think it also helps that your expectation was pretty low going into it, and it actually turned out being a pretty decent movie, which I feel helps in all scenarios.
I mean, it's in the running for my, like, biggest surprise of the year already. Because it is surprisingly good in a way that I was not expecting.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting it. You kind of get attached to the characters in it, which we specifically recorded. Well, they developed the characters a lot better than they did Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they developed the characters a lot better than anything in the DC universe has done. It's like surprising. Like this, honestly, when I saw this trailer for this film, that's what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be like a DC level quality film, and it was way better than I thought. And it does some things with the characters that I think are interesting in a way that aren't like pandering, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
And then it has, I would say, the most egregious use of product placement I've ever seen in a film. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I guess I missed that. And then
what the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking with me?
No.
Krispy Kreme donuts, bro.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, that was pretty hilarious, though.
It's a little much.
I love Krispy Kreme donuts, so...
So you're able to overlook it?
Yeah, I'm like, cool.
It is a little much, right? Like, it's a lot of much. It is like next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Iron Man where everything has Dr. Pepper in it. So
no, but there's like a plot point in this film where a certain plot point is tied to the Krispy Kreme donuts.
It's part of the main plot, so
yeah. Like the film hinges on Krispy Kreme donuts. So,
which is astounding.
Yeah, but I think overall as like a tentpole film for Lionsgate and a film that they're looking to build a franchise off of, I think that this is a pretty good place to start, honestly. Again, my buddy Shane and I went to see the movie, and we were joking beforehand because we grabbed some dinner ahead of time that we thought it was going to be fucking terrible, and it looked like garbage. And when we walked out of the theater, I looked over to him and I said, you're not going to believe me, but I really enjoyed it. It was actually really good. The characters were really well done.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, the character development was pretty good.
And again, I cared about the characters when I walked out of the film. Like, I was like, I would like to see more of this. Yeah. I have my qualms with the film, namely the redesigns for the Power Rangers, because I think that they look just a tad strange.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably I don't think it was that bad.
Oh, it's not bad, but it's just, I don't know of a better way to design the Power Rangers, I guess, for them to be because that was the whole angle of this is it's a more alien angle to all of this.
Yeah. And, I mean, just that's just in the kind of the backstory of it.
Right.
So.
I mean, obviously in the original show, it's just people in fucking spandex jumping around. So this is kind of biomechanical
power armor.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they said. It's hey, it's your power armor that you have inside you. You just need to learn how to harness it.
Right.
So,
But I think all in all, like you've been saying, and I completely agree, this film lives and dies on the characters and whether or not we care about them. You know, if Batman vs. Superman or Suicide Squad had characterization for the characters that was like this film, we probably would be sitting back and saying how actually good those films were, because you can overlook a lot of stuff in a film if the characters, like the character development is really well done. You can overlook a lot of stuff.
I don't know if you guys watched the Power Rangers growing up like I did, but basically what happens is the main evil person is Rita Repulsa, which shows up in the movie, and, you know, she was uncovered on the moon and sets up base there. And basically Zordon, which is also in the new movie, was basically the nemesis of Rita back on his home planet. So he's like, hey, we need to find some people to help basically get to this so she doesn't take over Earth, and henceforth the Power Rangers. Kind of, the backstory is a little bit different in the new movie, but, you know, I didn't hate the backstory.
They changed it to be, I think, a little bit, I don't know, I think it makes a little bit more sense, though, for the movie version.
I feel it's more cohesive. They kind of did a more backstory of the entire thing. I mean, it was kind of the same, but you are established more into, like, the backstory with Rita Repulsa on this one and with Zordon. So,
and why they hate one another.
Yeah. And, I mean, and it's interesting because you see the original Power Rangers, and, like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what Ranger, spoiler, died in the beginning with Zordon there. But it looks like she was possibly a different, you know, species than Zordon.
The beginning of the film has a Yellow Ranger dying.
Yeah.
And this is like completely like it really has nothing to do with the main film other than just establishing Rita and Zordon as like opposing forces.
But it gets you to look at like the Power Rangers are kind of this not even like earthly force, but more of a universal, because there's different species. Like, I mean, because you had Rita fighting Zordon, and you can definitely tell like that they're not the same species based off the beginning of the movie. So I don't know, it sets up. I think it can just that backstory and putting it forward can have them do a lot of things with new movies, especially going of how the movie ended.
Yeah.
So.
What did you think of Elizabeth Banks?
You know, I had she was probably the Rita Repulsa and Goldar were probably my two least favorite parts of the movie.
I thought Elizabeth Banks was fantastic. I mean, she was hamming it up big time, but it works so well.
It was weird because it was like she did this super intense stuff and then she was just super cheesy at points too. I don't know. I guess I wanted it to be more like the TV series growing up, but
an Asian woman with weird Princess Amidala hair running around.
That would have been perfect.
I mean, I understand having a problem with it, but at the same time, like, I think it works really well in this film because, I don't know, I think Elizabeth Banks, like, bought in, if that makes sense. Like, she bought in. Like, she's not holding back in this performance, which is really kind of great.
No, and like, that, I mean, she doesn't show up until, like, halfway through the movie, even, so...
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, let's make no mistakes. When I've been reading criticisms of the film, and it's like, oh, the Power Ranger stuff doesn't happen until 2/3 of the way into the film. Like, yeah, that's not wrong.
But that's character development.
Yeah, like, do you not want them to give us characters we care about, or do you don't want just like fucking shit blowing up on screen? Because then they'll complain that there are characters that nobody cares about and that they're all cardboard cutouts.
Well, and you can throw them away. Like, what was it? I'm comparing this to Suicide Squad because, you know, it kind of feels like the same thing. You have people that were thrown together by force, put together to stop an evil force. So, I mean, what was that? Like Ripcord or I don't even know who the character was that was like the first scene with him, you see him just blow up on Suicide Squad. It's like, you don't care. And like, I'm pretty sure didn't Diablo die in that movie? And you're like, okay.
Right. Because, but they tried in that film to give him characterization, too.
Yeah, and it was, like the first part of this, like, the first half of this movie is just really good character development and, like, bringing these people together, so.
And it's believable, too, to an extent, obviously.
Oh, yeah, to an extent.
Again, it's kind of what were people wanting from this film? If people were wanting a film where it's Power Rangers the whole time, probably the next film is going to be that, maybe more. But I mean, this is an origin story.
Yeah.
On top of everything else.
I feel it's a pretty good origin story. So
I mean, it's better than the origin story of most of the Marvel films.
Yeah. So.
And most of the Marvel films' origin stories are pretty cut and dried on top of everything else. But I feel like this film's origin story was a lot better than what I was. I mean, when I sat down to watch this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. And when I walked out of it, I got a better sense of what they were going for.
Yeah.
And I feel like they achieved it more or less.
Yeah. I would have to say, like, the beginning scene of the film is probably one of my favorite scenes. So.
With Bryan Cranston?
I guess it would be the first scene where they introduce the new Power Ranger characters.
That scene at the beginning with Bryan Cranston in alien makeup, I was like laughing.
Yeah, I was like, because I did know who was going to be in the movie, and I just went into it blind. I'm like, is that Bryan Cranston? Like, what?
Yeah, and I was laughing during that scene, and I was like, oh god, here we go. Like,
I know, right?
This is like, if you watch that first scene and that's all you watch, and you have an issue with this movie, it will essentially confirm everything you thought about this film. Because that first scene is not great. It's like Bryan Cranston, like full blue makeup.
But it's weird because, I mean, I would say he's a big actor, but he's not in the movie a whole lot.
No, him and Elizabeth Banks take a backstage seat to everybody else.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird that you see these like bigger name actors and actresses just sit back and watch these. I mean, because the 5 Power Rangers, they're basically unknown actors and actresses, and they're taking a backseat to this new group. So
right, but I think that it really helps to, I don't know, legitimize the film, if that makes sense. I mean, they've got these actors involved that are, like you said, well-known actors. So, you know, there's worse things that they could be other than to just help legitimize the film and give some gravitas, I guess, to the roles. I mean, you have Bill Hader as Alpha 5, who, you know, he doesn't do a whole lot, but he's there for comic relief. But I think that everybody involved who's like an established actor does their part really well and doesn't distract.
No. Yeah.
Wasn't Fred Armisen originally Alpha 5? Am I misremembering that?
I'm not sure.
I felt like that was the case. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe not. I'm even thinking of something else. I know what I'm thinking of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. That movie is the only film that you could really compare this to, in actuality, or the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. Because it's like reboots of 90s properties. And this movie, 1,000,000 times more successful than those films. Those films are really not great. They seem to miss what makes the Turtles great.
Yeah.
I think in this film, they at least understand what makes the Power Rangers entertaining. They seem to have a pretty good sense of what makes the Power Rangers entertaining.
And that, I mean, this is an entertaining movie.
Yeah, it's a big budget Hollywood film. I mean, its budget was $100 million. It hasn't made that back at the box office, which is kind of, it's a little concerning. It's its first weekend. Hopefully it'll make its money back. Hopefully there will be a sequel. I read that, Saban was talking about how he wanted to make this like a 7-movie series.
Oh, wow.
6 or 7, something like that. I think 6 more movies is what he said. So, yeah. But, I mean, that would be great. I mean, have a Power Rangers movie every couple of years, and I'm not sure how you would do that as these actors get older, but maybe you'd get to see something interesting where you have older Power Rangers. But, yeah, the issues that I have with this film are kind of, there's some stuff that they do in this film that I'm not sure, like, I understand why they did it, but like Goldar.
Okay, that was another one of my issues, but I'm a big fan of the original series Goldar.
Is Goldar the original series like a giant, like, lion creature, right?
But, yeah, so if you basically they kind of did it with him. I mean, he's like a lion-ish figure in this giant, or in a golden armor, and he has wings. So it was a reference to him, but I don't know. It's like, I have to have gold, and then you just see, this giant figure of gold.
Yeah, that was a little. I understand what they were going for, but like Goldar, that is a bigger disappointment for me, because it's essentially like he's just a Megazord. Essentially, like he's a Zord in the film. So it's never explained how she can make him. She just makes him out of gold. Like, I'm not as huge a fan as you are of the Goldar character from the original series. I think for me, the issue I have with Goldar is it seems like a missed opportunity to actually have, like, an interesting villain, like, at the end of the film.
And, like, he was... And I wouldn't even say that he was a gigantic villain, because that, like, every single episode of Power Rangers, you had this villain that was specifically, they were made, and basically they were usually catered to a specific item that they were headed towards in the movie. And Goldar was kind of more of just like a henchman of Rita. So that was kind of helping her, where he wasn't, I mean, because it was a multiple series, like, they had multiple episodes, so Goldar wasn't the actual villain in all of them. They had just random villains that were, some of them were pretty bad, but hilarious at the same point, that went down to earth to fight. I see where they're heading, because Goldar is an established character in that universe, and you can't really pull a random thing and be like, oh, here's this throwing at the Power Rangers, and everyone would have been like, oh, what?
Right.
So...
What did you think of the Zord redesigns?
They were okay. I have to say, Zach, which was probably the reason why he was my favorite character growing up, and it's probably because he had the same name as me, and his Zord was a mastodon. And my biggest issue was the new one didn't really look like a mastodon, but I mean, that's probably because that was my favorite character growing up. Otherwise, I thought the other ones did okay. I wasn't a huge...
His looked more like a beetle.
Yeah. Had like 8 legs or something.
Yeah.
They were okay. I didn't dislike them. I wasn't a huge fan of the giant Megazord when they all transform into it, but...
Which is given no context in the film.
Oh, no. But I honestly think that was supposed to be something that they didn't know was possible.
That scene fell a little flat for me when they're pushed up against the pit and they're pushed in, and then all of a sudden they emerge as the Megazord. Like, it fell a little flat, because I was like, but why wouldn't they have told them?
Well, the issue I think with that is I don't think anyone knew that. They all thought they were going to die. And even like when they come out of the pit, spoilers, just the story, Rita is the original Green Ranger in the series, and who went against the Power Rangers in opposition, wanted more power. So she should have known that even with that, if they were able to form one Megazord, because obviously she was their nemesis, and if the original Power Ranger would have been able to morph into a Megazord, she should have known that. But when they came out of the pit and they were as the Megazord, she was astonished and didn't. Basically, it was like, well, what is going on? So, and that's how I think that played out. Is like, I don't think anyone actually knew that this was possible, but it ended up that they were able to do this by sticking together. That's what I felt from it.
For me, it fell a little flat, because it was like, well, okay, so it's hanging a lantern on it a little bit, because they can just transform into the giant Megazord. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I do like, though, that the film actually, like, attempts to... It does attempt to do something interesting with the Power Rangers, because one of the Power Rangers is gay, and one of the Power Rangers is autistic.
Which he was the best character in the movie, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, at least I felt that way. So, and I guess spoilers again. I like talking about this movie because I did enjoy it. Like him dying, I didn't expect that at all.
I kind of expected it when they were talking about Zordon coming back.
So I guess I didn't like realize that, because I thought he was just like his body would have just been reanimated as something, but they had to pull his like conscious from the morphing matrix. But I didn't understand that whole concept. But then once they like brought him to Zordon and the morphing matrix opened up, I'm like, oh, okay, he's just going to come back alive. But I'm like, how are they going to do this movie with one of the original Power Rangers dead?
Right.
But in all actuality, I'm like, well, crap. Here goes the best character in this movie, and if there goes any hope of like doing a second movie if they want to do it.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, the character of Billy is the best character in the film. R.J. Cyler is the best character in the film.
And you get like I said, you get attached, so you feel really bad when he dies. Like,
yeah. I'll say this much though, the character of Zach is, I think, the second best character in the film, even though he's Asian and he's bilingual and he has a mom that's sick. I don't know, the Red Ranger, similar to like Donatello and Leonardo and the Teenage Ninja Turtles, like the leader character always kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I would say that's true. They wanted to try and develop him, but he was just, he's just a teenager with a lot of stuff going on in his life, but they don't really say why he's that, like, 'cause he pulls that prank at the beginning of the movie, but they don't really say why he does it. I don't know.
You're never given any reason to believe that he would go out and just do that.
And like his family life seems okay. He's like a star quarterback, but his development seemed a little.
He was the weakest developed of the characters. I still think that Dacre Montgomery, who played him, did a really good job, but I think if we're talking about development of the character, it's not great.
Yeah.
But they clearly knew who the best character in the film was.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of interesting, though, that, like, I guess Kimberly, who, she didn't really, I guess that's Naomi Scott, she didn't really have a rough life at home. She just kind of thought she was a bad person because she did some stuff. And then R.J. Cyler, I mean, you find out his father's dead, and he used to be super attached to his father, and so he has some issues with that. And then Becky G, who plays Trini, the Yellow Ranger, basically is that kid that moves around all the time, and she is the one that is a lesbian, and her parents don't want her to be different than everyone else, and they're having big issues at home with that. So I feel the Red Ranger, like or Kimberly, like those their home issues were the least out of the group, and really. The Red Ranger, his issues were brought basically upon himself by his actions. Not because like, oh, they don't want you to be a certain person. It was just like you did some stuff you shouldn't have done, and you screwed up, and you have to deal with the consequences.
I feel like with a film like this, and we've talked about the character development a lot. When you have a film like this that really hinges on that character development, I think that they really did themselves a favor by casting actors that I didn't particularly know very well or have any like background with, because it allowed me to kind of go into this film not knowing what to expect from them. And, I also don't feel like having a character who's gay and having a character who's autistic. I don't feel like that was pandery or gimmicky in a way, because there's stunt casting, obviously. You could do that. But I feel like they did a really good job of introducing these kinds of aspects to the characters without sitting there and like stroking their own egos about it. Look, first gay superhero, first autistic superhero. Like they didn't sit and do that. They just kind of did it, and okay, that's just who the characters are. All right, moving on. Like it wasn't something that they were sitting and like really making a huge point of. They mentioned it a couple times and then they moved on.
Oh yeah, I mean they were big points in the movie. I mean, it was just that was like, I think the only part they really talked about it was when they went down and they got together and started to get to know each other and basically found out each other's issues. Is really the only time that you really know what's going on with some of these. Like, because Trini has issues at home, but you don't exactly know why.
Right. And I've been reading a lot of reviews that said, like, oh, this is the Breakfast Club with superhero powers. And it kind of is, because most of this film, if you can't tell by the way that we're talking about it, most of this film has nothing to do with, like, Power Rangers it has very little to do with what I would assume is a Power Rangers movie, if that makes sense.
I mean, I guess that helps with an origin story, too, is you have these normal people that are put into a situation where they have to do something.
Right.
So, I mean, it starts out as them as normal people living their lives as messed up as they could be. And then, like, it just so happens that this falls onto their plate and it's something else they have to deal with.
Yeah. And then I think that works to the film's advantage, because I honestly thought that this would be a film where it's just about the Power Rangers and, them flying around in the Zords and blowing shit up and fighting Rita Repulsa. But no, it's more about the characters interacting with one another, which again, there's a lot to be said for a film that puts a lot of time and effort into establishing the characters as people you should care about, as opposed to just assuming that we're going to care about them because we already have exposure to the Power Rangers from the TV shows or the original movie.
Yeah, they just make the characters super relatable too. because they have issues the same as everyone else, and
they did a good job. They did a really good job of giving us characters that we were supposed to care about. And I think that there's a lot to be said about that as a approach to making a quote-unquote, reboot, remake.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I liked it. It was good. It's a film that I was really surprised by it.
Oh, yeah. No, I was too. And, I wanted it to be good, but I didn't think it would be, so. But,
and there are issues with it. Again, I think that some of the issues are just kind of style choices more than anything else. I'm not sure why the putties were rock monsters. Not sure it really matters.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I understand why they did it that way. Because they kind of wanted it to be towards the original. I mean, because the putty guys were basically just clay monsters.
AKA dudes in suits.
Yeah.
So isn't that that's like the ultimate issue with Power Rangers, right? Is in the original show, everything was just guys in suits. So now you've got the ability to use CGI. It's a big budget film. So when you redesign things, do you really want the putties to just be guys in suits again? Like, is that what... Because I saw a lot of people complaining about the putties. Like, the rock monsters were a little bland, but did people really want just guys in, like, gray suits running around?
I know, right?
Right? Like, I don't understand, like, some of the complaints, like, the Goldar complaint, I feel like is a little valid, but that's just because Goldar is, like, an actual character in the original film, or in the original series. But, like, the putties, did you really want people in just, like, gray suits running around? Like, is that what you wanted?
No.
Because that's, like, the Foot Clan, essentially.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with the new style of the buddies. That was not, because how does that make sense if it's actual people going around?
Right.
It doesn't make sense if Rita Repulsa has been revived. Like it just doesn't make sense in this world that they've created with the Power Rangers.
Right. I don't know. My only issue is just that I just thought that the design of the characters was a tad just kind of bland and straightforward. So. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't really matter, but, it's one of those things where it's like, just rock dudes? Really? Like, that's it? Not the most exciting thing.
Oh, no, it's not. But I'm interested to see what, like, another movie holds.
Well, the next movie is going to tell the Green Ranger saga, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they had the after credit scene, so, which I don't know if you stayed for or not.
Oh, yeah. It was like halfway through the credits.
Yeah, where they teased Tommy Oliver, because of course.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
Right. Well, and Jason David Frank is in this film at the end as in a pretty, like, obvious cameo. You know what he looks like. Yeah. So,
the original, this was the Pink Ranger, I forget her name.
Amy Jo Hart.
Yeah.
Or Amy, something.
Something like that.
Amy Jo Johnson, excuse me.
Sorry.
But
we apologize.
Yeah, we apologize. But, I think that's where they go next is the Green Ranger saga. I'm not sure how they do it, because wasn't the Green Ranger a bad guy?
Originally, but they took care of that with Rita kind of being the Green Ranger. Because they kind of killed two birds with one stone, basically, because Rita Repulsa kind of made the Green Ranger, and he fought the original Power Rangers. But with Rita, quote-unquote, being the original Green Ranger, it can kind of take away from that whole storyline.
Or, like, the power coin is, like, somehow infected with her, like, bad.
Yeah, I mean, it could do that, too.
Essence.
So,
I mean, I think that they go that direction with it, but obviously... I read some things today that said that they might cast a woman as the Green Ranger.
Yeah. I mean, and
I like the response.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. At first I didn't like the characters because, I mean, when you watch the original series, like Zach was the Black Ranger, which I guess is stereotypical, was an African-American male.
Yeah, that's like one of the long-running jokes about the original Power Rangers, right? The Yellow Ranger was Asian, the Black Ranger was black. Pretty on the nose.
Yeah, and they switched it up in this movie, which I thought was interesting, but I after it was going for a while, I did enjoy it, so...
And they kind of hang a lantern on it, too, in the movie, when they're all in the water, and he's like, oh, I'm... glowing black, and he's like, I'm black. He's like, no, you're not. And it's like, there you go. Like that's it. Like, I think that like it takes the piss out of that original joke about the Black Ranger's black, the Yellow Ranger's Asian. Like, it takes the piss out of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. That was another one of my favorite scenes.
But, I think ultimately, if they cast the Green Ranger as a woman, I think it works.
Yeah,
based on three guys,
fine.
3 girls.
It's completely fine. I mean, because you don't have to follow the original. You can set up a framework totally different, and it should work.
And they have the ability to, because let's be honest here, past the original Power Rangers series, I have no idea anything. The Dragon Force and Power Rangers in space, like, no idea.
Yeah.
I have no exposure to any of that.
Like, the second series was, like, Power Rangers Turbo, I think, where they all, like, it was basically Transformers, because they drove cars or something. Huh. I don't know. Yeah.
Is that for real?
Pretty sure. Because they actually made it a movie.
They really?
Yeah. Pretty sure it's Power Rangers Turbo.
Wow.
Yep. That's what it was. Or Turbo, a Power Rangers movie.
I did not know that.
And they drove cars.
Like cars?
Yep.
Wow. It's interesting. Huh. It's interesting. Yeah, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of experience past like the original movie and the original series. So, where they go from the Green Ranger saga is like, obviously that's they teased it. So that's what's happening. If it happens. But past that, I have no idea. Yeah. Maybe they'll introduce Lord Zed or... Yeah. Because Lord Zed missing from this film.
Which is okay.
Yeah. This is all about Rita, so...
Yeah, it's an origin story, and that she was the original. Zed didn't come into the series until a little later, so...
And then you have her being, essentially sent to the moon, frozen and sent to the moon at the end of this film. So, that, there you go. The film essentially, it's putting everything, I think, in a good place to move forward.
Yeah. I would have to say one of my favorite things was, I think she said, make my monster grow. Which...
Wow.
It's straight to a throwback to the series because, the monsters were basically, they were little clay figurines that one of her henchmen, he created them, threw them in an oven, and they became these, humanoid-sized monsters.
Dudes in suits.
Yeah. And then she's like, make my monster grow. And then they grew gigantic and had a gigantic Zord battle, Megazord. So.
At the end of every episode.
Yep.
And they also used the Go-Go Power Rangers theme in the film.
Yep.
In a scene that I think, again, you can do fan service. And I think that they did fan service pretty well in this film.
Without overdoing it.
Yeah, and without being like, get it? Power Rangers. Yeah. So, what would you give the film out of 5 stars?
I guess it would depend on which half. Because I feel like the beginning half is really good. Second half not so much. So, but
Even though the second half of the film is the part with the legit Power Rangers.
Yeah. That being said, I don't think it was horrible. It was just, I guess it's nostalgia coming back at me and like, hey, this isn't the original. But it wasn't bad at all. I give it like a 3.5, something like that.
It's a good jumping off point.
Yeah.
And I would ask you who your favorite performance is, but I think I already know the answer.
Yeah. R.J. Cyler, the way his character, it just set up so much of the movie, his character did, so.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the comedic relief was from him, so, what are you gonna do if you don't have Bulk and Skull in the movie? You gotta find humor somewhere.
You gotta use the Power Rangers as comic relief.
Yeah.
I am really glad that this film was not nearly as dour and serious as it looked like it was gonna be from the trailers.
Oh yeah, it looked like, oh man.
It looked like the DC Universe Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And that was not the case. And
I think portraying the characters the way they did, it gave a soft side to the movie. And then you had a little bit of comedic relief. So
yeah, it gave the film heart, and for a big action movie, that's not something that really happens very often. It's not always successful. When they try to give characters characterization, sometimes it falls flat. But I think this film really uses it to its advantage. So,
if you didn't have those backstories, you probably wouldn't have been invested in these characters,
and you wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have cared. You're like, oh, this is just another superhero movie.
It's like a cash grab. It's just another cash grab to make money off of people's nostalgia. So, for me, it's like a 4 out of 5, and that's surprising. But I actually I really enjoyed it. For me, it was a surprise that I enjoyed it as much as I did. Which I know people like to give me a hard time that I don't like things that they like, but you know what? That's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. But I occasionally, more often than not, like stuff that I never thought I would like, and I really thought that you and I had conversations about this before we watched the film, that I thought this movie looked like shit. garbage, straight up garbage.
And I thought it would be bad, but I didn't think it would be horrible going into the movie, but I actually really enjoyed it. So
yeah. And best performance, I mean, I have to agree, R.J. Cyler, I think he's the heart and soul of the film. I think that they know that, and I think that they did a good job of making everything work off of his character. I mean, there's a reason his character is the one that dies in the film, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I guess is Dacre Montgomery. He may be the leader of the team, but R.J. Cyler brings them together.
Yeah.
So, and if his character was not what it was, I don't know what you would have. It would the movie and the Power Ranger team as a whole would have been pretty stale. I feel
it would have been pretty one note.
Yeah, because I mean the Red Ranger is the leader, but the Blue Ranger was the heart.
Yeah. In
this movie. So,
but I do have to say Elizabeth Banks way better than I thought she would be. She really just gave it her all.
Oh yeah, no, she gave it her all.
I mean that's the thing. Like the villain in the film has to be the one who's over the top.
Yeah. I wasn't super fond of her character, but I mean, she...
Would you have liked it more if she had just not been named Rita Repulsa?
No, I don't know. I think it was more of the visual of her. I think if they did something a little bit different, I would have been fine with it. But I don't know. I think it's just her appearance.
I think they kind of had their cake and ate it too when they made Rita Repulsa also a Green Ranger. They should have just had her be an evil ranger. Does that make sense? And not gone the Rita Repulsa angle. And I think that a lot of people, yourself included, might have had a different kind of reaction to it. Because if she had just been an evil Green Ranger who then has her own Zord, that makes a lot more sense than trying to shoehorn in it's also Rita Repulsa.
Or if it was just Rita Repulsa and not
a Green Ranger.
Yeah.
But now I feel like they have a way to kind of give a reason why the Green Ranger might be a villain.
I don't think there was a whole lot of gaps in the storyline in the movie or where they could go. So
my only other issue is why didn't everyone else have weapons?
So I'm not sure on that.
Because Jason, the Red Ranger, is the only one who has a weapon in the fight scene with the putties. Yet we know that they all have weapons.
But so I was trying to figure that out as well. But because he had that power sword and he returned it to the ship once it was all done. If you noticed that.
Did we ever see him take it from the ship?
No, I didn't.
Right. That's one of the other qualms I have with the film is there's the thing with the sword, because that's another part of the Power Rangers that makes them is their weapons.
Their weapons.
Yeah, because Kimberly has the bow, and Trini has what? What does she have? What does she have? I know that the Black Ranger has the axe.
Yeah, that turns into a
shotgun.
Yeah. Oh. I feel bad because I don't remember what they all had.
Did the Red Ranger have a sword?
Red Ranger had a sword, and I think Trina and Billy both had weapons or hands, dual-wielded weapons.
Okay, that's what I thought. They had sais or something.
Yeah, I think one was daggers and the other was sais.
Okay. It was just weird to me that he's the only one that has a weapon in that entire scene. Because that's such a big part of what I always associate with the Power Rangers, because then they would also put their weapons together.
And then destroy, quote unquote, the...
until the creature became large.
And until they grow my monster, or make my monster grow.
So I don't know. That was another issue that I had. What do you think the film has on Rotten Tomatoes?
Probably a 60?
46%. Power Rangers has neither the campy fun of its TV predecessor nor the blockbuster action of its cinematic superhero competitors, and sadly never quite manages to shift into turbo for some good old-fashioned morphin time.
I have an issue with that just because that's not what this movie was totally about.
I mean, no, that's not what this movie was going for. I feel like that the advertisements for this film kind of failed it in a way.
If you wanted a super brawly Power Rangers movie, this is not that movie.
The second one might be.
Yeah, but this is not that movie. This is an origin story of the Power Rangers that leads into them morphing and fighting. But it's a backstory. You can't just be oh, here's the Power Rangers. Oh, they're morphing. I guess you could do that, but I feel like that's pretty bland.
Well, it's pretty formulaic, and you might not give a shit about the characters. What do you think the audience score is?
Is it worse than that?
I'm not gonna tell you, but you have to guess.
I'm going to say 60 because they said 64.
81%.
81. Okay. Better than I thought.
Much higher. So kind of split. It split the critics a little bit, and it's clearly more positive for the audience than it is for the critics. So it's kind of an interesting.
I feel it's how you go into the movie. If you're wanting, hey, a super actiony Power Rangers movie, that's not what you're going to get.
The like I said, the advertisements, the trailers for the film didn't do a very good job of conveying what the film was going to be.
Like, you gotta take the movie for what it is, and it's building these characters to become that battle movie that you want to see.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you there. Well, I am going to plug my stuff, so you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash. If you like what you're hearing now, head on over to cultureshock.com/Kulturecast to check out 100+ episodes of the Kulturecast. Mr. Zach has been on a couple. He was on one of the worst movies I've ever seen, The Oogie Loves.
That was the best movie you've ever seen. Don't lie.
No, the movie's terrible. The movie's absolute garbage. We talked about that one, I think, last year. So if you want to go hear Zach and I riff on that god-awful film, check that one out. Patreon.com/culture_shocked is where you can go to kick a couple dollars our way. We have some new backer rewards. So if you want to help us out and get something out of it, quid pro quo, we're all about that. Wavoka.bandcamp.com is where you can go to check out Eric's band, Wavoka. That song that you hear at the beginning and the end of the podcast is their song Lament off of their first album, Sorrow. So go check them out and throw money at them. Next week, we're going to be talking about another new film, a film that I have zero expectations for, and I think it will be the bad movie that this movie theoretically should have been. We're going to be talking about Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, all right? Elicit gales of laughter because it looks fucking terrible.
I want it to be good, but
I want it to not be a movie that gets laughed out of the theaters, but it's not positioning itself very well, and I don't even think it let the critics see it ahead of time. So that's never a good sign.
And it's sad because like this movie has to really do well, or the Netflix series Death Note, in order for, I think, for the anime to actually get live action movies going.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes next week. Big thanks to you, Zach, for sitting down and talking Power Rangers. I know I didn't really have to twist your leg.
Oh yeah, thanks for inviting me.
And make sure to check out next week's Kulturecast.